Part 9. First Marriage Then Love, Mr. Mayor Please Be Kind. Author, Zhao Nuan. Chapter 82. There was also crying in the carriage carrying the female soldiers. Although most of the girls in that era were not only children and were not as pampered as the little princesses of later generations, most of them grew up under the care of their parents. It was the first time they left home, and they still went to such a far place. See you again within a year. It is impossible for them not to cry to their parents. The matter of crying is extremely contagious. One affects 2 and 3 or 4 help each other. The final result is that you cry, I cry, everyone cries, and no one feels ashamed. Liang Xiangyang and Zheng Meili obviously saw this kind of situation often, so they didn't persuade them, they just sat there staring out the window, thinking about their own things. Half an hour later, the sobbing in the carriage subsided, and the people seated opposite each other looked at each other with red noses and swollen eyes, and the distance was shortened a lot in an instant. Naturally, Luo Xiaoqing and Chu Xia were sitting together. They were old acquaintances, Zhang Xiadi, Jiaoning Ai and Sun Shangmei from Hunky Commune, and there was Xue Qingqin in their row. The 6 members of the Hunky Commune were gathered together. On the day of the selection, everyone was mixed among a bunch of people. Although they knew each other, they were not familiar with each other. Now, because they came from the same commune, they became close all of a sudden. Lin Chuxia, I heard that you were almost replaced, right? Zhang Xiadi was a girl with a round face, and she was the first to ask questions that everyone was interested in. Chu Xia looked away from the window, concealed the trace of sadness, and showed a faint smile. Yes. Zhang Xiadi smacked her lips. You said they are really brave, they can do such a thing, alas. They are really lawless. Lin Chuxia, you can't disgrace our red flag commune when you're in the army. Sun Shangmei said this out of nowhere. What right do you have to talk to Chu Xia like this? As long as you don't disgrace Hunky Commune in Luo Xiaoqing's heart. Chu Xia is weak and needs her protection. Therefore, without waiting for Chu Xia to speak, she quickly fired at Sun Shangmei. During the selection, her grade was the bottom one. Could it be that I made it up? How about the training results? That's my business. Chu Xia glanced at her coldly. What does it have to do with you, and what does it have to do with the Hunky Commune? You have to endure things like riding a shit on your neck. Honesty isn't her forte. Seeing that Sun Shangmei was about to jump, Jiaoning Ai held her down. Okay, let's not say a word, don't make people laugh here, okay? Who wants to quarrel with her? Doesn't it mean that we all belong to the Hunky Commune, and we have to take care of each other and win glory for the Hunky Commune when we go out? Sun Shangmei said bitterly. Luo Xiaoqing gave her a white look. You are just eating radish and worrying about it. Since you can be selected, no one is willing to be sent back. I didn't mention you, why are you so anxious? Could it be? Sun Shangmei pouted contemptuously, could it be that you are her dog's leg? These words were vicious, and the girls looked at Sun Shangmei with displeasure. It is estimated that she herself realized that what she said was too much, so she shrank her shoulders subconsciously. You can think whatever you want. Anyway, if anyone dares to bully Chu Xia, first ask me if I agree or not. It was beyond everyone's expectations. Luo Xiaoqing was not angry. Chu Xia, you and Xiaoqing have a really good relationship. I'm so happy to have such a friend, Zhang Xiadi said with a smile. Knowing that she supported herself and Luo Xiaoqing in her own way, Chu Xia smiled calmly at her. Yes, she is one of the best people to me besides my parents. It's so enviable to join the army with such good friends, Jiaoning Ai said. Yes, I feel envious. It was Xue Qingqin who said this. Sensing everyone's isolation from her, Sun Shangmei frowned, but then she felt relieved. In her opinion, everyone was jealous of her. Sun Shangmei was the number one in the selection of physique. After chatting for a while, Chu Xia had a rough idea of the characters of these girls. Zhang Xiadi has a round face and big eyes. As her name suggests, she is a lively and lovely girl who is as agile as a butterfly. She is very pleasing. Qiao Ning Ai is tall and thin, with a fair complexion, slender eyebrows and long eyes, calm temperament, and a bit of chivalry. Her ancestors were the founders of Jiao Jiaquan, and she really knows some kung fu. Xueqingqin is very stocky, with a dark complexion, and she looks like a long-term laborer. She has 6 brothers and sisters, and she is the eldest. Sun Shangmei is the tallest and the strongest among them. She looks like a man overall. She has a bit of a jealous temper, and she is a person who has a special desire to lead. After being rejected by everyone, she did not allow everyone to isolate her. Instead, he inserted the topics of several people from time to time, never giving up without arguing for some sweetness. The situation of the other seats is similar. Girls, most of them will be a little narrow-minded in comparison. Thinking of the future life, they will inevitably test and study each other. When the car arrived at Yunqian City, it stopped for about 10 minutes. More than 20 female soldiers in military uniform came up and occupied the other half of the car. So it's not just us. Look at this, the competition is huge. That's right, the health center doesn't need so many female soldiers. It seems that if you don't work hard, you will really be dismissed. It's too embarrassing to be banned. Anyway, I would rather die than be banned. Me too, if I'm sent back to the village, I'll lose face. A group of new female soldiers came up, causing lively discussions in the carriage. Sun Shangmei glanced at Chu Xia with a smile that was not a smile. Now you know that I am doing it for you, right? If you don't work hard, you are definitely the one who was driven back to the village. Even if you are really sent back, so what? Chu Xia glanced at her lightly. You don't need to worry about my affairs. The dog bit Lu Dongbin. Well, I'm Lu Dongbin. Ft. Luo Xiaoxian spat, pushing Chu Xia's shoulder. Chu Xia, you're quite quick to react. Sun Shangmei, who was robbed of Lu Dongbin and turned into a dog, opened her mouth in anger, panting like a toad. It deserves it. Qiao Ning Ai didn't sympathize with her at all, and she wasn't the leader. What kind of wolf with a big tail was she pretending to be? You. We're all jealous of you. Okay, Qiao Ning Ai rolled his eyes. I'll tell you for you, so you won't be embarrassed to say it yourself. You. Because we are jealous of your excellence, we all bully you, Qiao Ning Ai added. The kind Xueqingqin stared at a pair of small eyes, looking at this and then at that, and finally turned into 2 simple laughs. Fool, Sun Shangmei, who had no one to vent her anger on, shot the kind Xueqingqin. Qiao Ning Ai snorted coldly. Sun Shangmei, your competitors are not just us, but the whole car, and even after arriving at the destination, there are other competitors joining in, so don't focus on these few people. Personally, okay. Who is staring at you? I want to pull you to make progress together. Several people were blushing and neck thick, but the victim, Chu Xia, was staring out the window in a daze. It can be expected that there will be no fewer such disputes in the following life. And she must not have an easy life. Although her damn body has improved a lot compared to before, she is still weak compared to most rural girls. Therefore, the next period of time may be the darkest in her life. Fight. No matter what, she had to fight hard. It was shameful not to mention being driven back, and her wish for her parents to live a good life would not come true. Therefore, in order to be worthy of the deity, she also had to work hard. I hope that the one who took her true self will also make her parents happy. Staring at the sky, Chu Xia silently made a wish. Another 2 hours later, the car stopped at City A, the capital city of Province A. A group of people got out of the car with their luggage on their shoulders, and set foot on this land that they could not leave for a period of time. Liang Xiangyang and Zheng Meili greeted everyone and boarded a large truck. As soon as everyone sat down, the tailgate of the car was blocked with a bang, and the car drove towards the army base in a wobble. Passing through the city center that is prosperous in everyone's eyes and desolate in early summer's eyes, galloping on the open land in the suburbs, the little female soldiers fell silent. The expectation and fear of the unknown occupied everyone's hearts at the same time. There is no desire to talk. It's here, it's so big. It's spectacular. It's all soldiers. Entering the army base, a certain young female soldier got excited and said something super useless nonsense, which immediately aroused everyone's contempt, and then the car suddenly swayed, and everyone sat unsteadily, and all lay down together. You crush me and I crush you, the carriage is in chaos. HandsomeMaleLead appeared at the rear of the car and removed the fender with a bang sound. Get out of the car and move quickly. After sitting for such a long time, everyone's legs were a little numb, and they were a little anxious after being urged. Therefore, the one in front jumped down and didn't stand up, and the one behind couldn't hold back their feet and smashed up again. Why? What a mess. Josei, who was sitting in the back with Josei, suddenly poked Josei. I just realized now that you are two thieves. I said, why did you drag me to sit in the back? So it was for this purpose, haha. Everyone likes to lean on the front to watch the scenery, and the back seat is more vacant. The two of them can sit with their legs stretched out, and they get out of the car at the back. Therefore, the numbness of their legs has nothing to do with them, and it is natural for them to be thrown or smashed also miss them. Josei smiled wryly and pointed to the big baffle on which her back rested. You misunderstood, I was just looking for a place to lean on. Josei Kaba's eyes, well, lazy people have lazy blessings. Finally reached. Standing on this piece of land, you can hear the majestic sound of eating and drinking, and Josei still has a sense of unreality. From now on, she is a female soldier of the People's Liberation Army. First marriage then love, Mr. Mayor please be kind. Author, Zhao Nuan. Chapter 84. Just an update today, we'll make it up tomorrow. 52 female soldiers dragged all kinds of luggage in their hands, some were wrapped in big bags, some were packed in snakeskin bags, and some were carried in big leather bags. This is from a good family, followed behind HandsomeMaleLead, looked around curiously and came to a row of brand new bungalows on the right side of the military area. HandsomeMaleLead looked back at everyone and smiled, this is your dormitory, where you will live for a period of time. I read the name and house number and bed number, and entered the room by myself. For most of the female soldiers, the house was beyond imagination, and their apprehensive expressions turned into joy in an instant, and the responses of hey, and yes kept coming and going. Ha. We. Some female soldiers who moved in earlier ran out to watch the excitement, and when they heard the chaotic responses, they put my shoulders on my shoulders and your backs on your backs and laughed into a group. Go back to the house, don't make trouble here. Yes. It was quiet outside the bungalow. All the miscellaneous soldiers blushed. Before getting on the bus, HandsomeMaleLead had told them to use yes when answering questions, but when they got up in a hurry, they forgot. HandsomeMaleLead glanced around, but did not reprimand everyone, but began to assign rooms one by one in front of the roster. Josei and Josei were assigned to room 3, together with Jiaoning Ai and Sun Shangmei, and two other female soldiers Lin Mengran and Chu Xiaojing who got on the bus halfway. Zhang Xiadi and Xue Qingkan, who both belonged to the Red Flag Commune, were assigned to room 4. 4 female soldiers have already lived in room 3. When Josei came in, a female soldier of medium height, slender figure, short hair, and 8-apple face greeted her with a smile. Hi, I'm Lu Meijun. I'm 18 years old and I'm from a city in Province A. From now on, we'll be comrades in arms. We need to help each other while talking. He took a small cloth bag from Josei. Look at your skinny, it's hard to hold these things, right? It's okay, thank you. Being despised as soon as he entered the door, Chuxia introduced himself with some helplessness. My name is Lin Chuxia, I am 17 years old, and I am from Dalan Village, Hunky Commune, Yunsan County, City B, Province A. My name is Luo Xiaoxian. I am 18 years old and I live in the same village as Chuxia. Luo Xiaoxian followed Chuxia's words and introduced herself. Several other people also introduced themselves in a similar manner. After everyone stuffed their luggage into the locker and settled down, the dormitory immediately became lively. The 3 female soldiers who had been sitting up all the time were also from City A, and they looked at Chuxia and the others with an obvious sense of superiority. I heard that you are all from the countryside. Did you join the army just to have enough to eat? The female soldier who said this was Yang Xiaoli, 19 years old, tall, slender, with big almond eyes. Sometimes it will deliberately stare wide. Yes, I heard that bark is eaten in rural areas. Is it true? Yuan Mengmeng, 18 years old, said this. He is of average height. A girl with a strong body and thin eyebrows and eyes is very ordinary. Ah! Eat tree bark? Can't it be true? Qi Jihong said this, 18 years old, with big eyes, long eyelashes, fair complexion, like a doll, very beautiful. The 3 of you seem to be very curious about food. Since you are so curious, why don't you go to the countryside to experience it yourself? Sun Shangmei was the first to fight back against the obviously discriminatory questions from several people. To experience that there is no food to eat? Sister, is it too funny? Yuan Mengmeng sneered. It's nothing more than to experience other things, but you can think of it to experience starvation. Why do you say that we have no food to eat? Sun Shangmei frowned. I tell you, the vast rural areas are in good shape now, and the members of the commune have food, and clothing, which is by no means what you imagined. Listening to Sun Shangmei's official propaganda sample words, the corners of Chuxia's mouth twitched unconsciously. According to her guess, each dormitory should be a class. Then, who will be the class leader? As for the 10 people in my own room, although it was only a short period of time, their personalities have roughly emerged. Needless to say, Sun Shangmei is naturally a person with a strong desire for power. Xiaoning Ai has a hearty personality. Lin Mengran and Chu Xiaojing, one weak and the other tall and strong, didn't say much, and they didn't introduce their backgrounds. They were the most mysterious of them all. Among the 4 urban female soldiers, Lu Meijun is the most easygoing, and the others seem to have Yang Xiaoli as the backbone. Thinking about it, the background of the Yang family should be good. The rest is myself and Luo Xiaoxian. Based on a comprehensive analysis, she will think that Jiaoning Ai is very suitable for the position of monitor, but I believe that Sun Shangmei and Yang Xiaoli will definitely not be convinced. Chu Xia, what do you think? After being poked by Luo Xiaoxian, Chu Xia came back to her senses and smiled at her. Is everything packed? Yeah, Luo Xiaoxian nodded. Why are you in a daze? Who do you think will be the squad leader? Chu Xia lowered her voice and whispered in Luo Xiaoxian's ear. I think I am, but I guess it's unlikely. Looking around, Luo Xiaoxian said, I think Xiaoning Ai is quite suitable. Chu Xia chuckled, heroes see the same thing. What are you two talking about? Lu Meijun walked over with a smile. Seeing that you guys are having a good chat, it makes me happy to say it, too. It's nothing, just arriving in a new place is a bit novel. Luo Xiaoxian smiled and patted the small bench next to her. Sit, there are so many rules, you are not allowed to sit on the bed during the day, and this small bench is too curled up. Yes, but... Pipipi. The sudden sound of a whistle interrupted Lu Meijun's conversation, and she got up quickly. Assemble, hurry out. 5 minutes later, the personnel arrived, and a large area was lined up in front of the dormitory. Relax. Stand at attention. Looking around, Zhengmeili said, from now on, everyone must demand themselves according to the requirements of a soldier. After lunch, everyone will first study the regulations, rules, and principles of discipline. Tomorrow, if it's still such a mess, don't blame me for being rude. After 3 months of training, the 100 comrades at the station will be assigned to various health teams to continue their studies for a period of 1 year. Then, they will officially become female medical soldiers who can work independently. Of course, those who are unqualified will go back to where they came from during this process. You are different from ordinary female soldiers. In addition to physical training, you also need to undergo cultural training. Therefore, the principle of elimination is that those who fail to meet one of the 2 standards will be cancelled. The 10 classes are based on dormitories, and dormitory number 1 is class 1. In turn, dormitory number 10 is class 10. Next, I will announce the candidates for the class leader and deputy class leader. Of course, this is only temporary. After half a month, the squad leader will be reselected based on the results of everyone's cultural lessons and experience training. The voices of the interim squad leader and deputy squad leader are Liang Iwei, the monitor of class 1, and Jin Xiaoyu, the deputy monitor. Xiang Liming, the monitor of the 2nd class, and Yu Wenhui, the deputy monitor. Qiao Ning Ai, the monitor of the 3rd class, and Yang Xiaoli, the deputy monitor. Gu Ning Ai, the monitor of the 4th class, and Zhang Xiadi, the deputy class. Wang Liwa, the monitor of class 10, and Yuan Ai, the deputy monitor. After lunch, the monitors and deputy monitors of each class will organize the students in the class to study. They will take the exam tomorrow morning, and the results will be posted on the big blackboard in the military headquarters. If you don't want to lose face, everyone should work harder. Yes. Relax. Stand at attention. Turn right. Let's go. Everyone followed behind Zhengmei suspiciously, walking forward with irregular steps. Along the way, the female soldiers received countless fiery gazes. There is only one company of female soldiers in the military region, and now there are so many young female soldiers who look like green onions. It is a feast for the eyes. Groups of male soldiers, on the surface they looked straight at each other, but in fact, they were peeking out of the corners of their eyes. Why are the female soldiers not curious? Quite a few brave ones would turn their heads to look at the male soldiers passing by in line, while the timid ones would glance sideways from the corners of their eyes from time to time, not at all curious, just 3 melons and 2 dates. Chu Xia, do you think we will meet Captain Zhou and the others? Luo Xiaoxian, who was about the same height as Chu Xia, happened to be side by side with Chu Xia. Chu Xia Tongzi, who was seriously observing the male soldier of this era, turned his head quietly. From what you mean, it seems that you are looking forward to meeting him. A little bit. He was the first one who proposed us to be soldiers. I think we can be selected this time, maybe because of his help. You think too much, Chu Xia pouted. Don't take yourself too seriously. Without his help, there must be the help of Instructor Zhou. Speaking of which, Instructor Zhou has a really good personality. Chu Xia, you said it would be great if he didn't grow so old, right? What do you want to do? Chu Xia poked her finger, with a hint of warning. This girl is engaged to Zhaoqi Liang. You don't know what I want. Luo Xiaoxian blinked her eyes and smiled narrowly. Aren't you engaged yet? Chu Xia. Zhaizi, can you stop worrying so much? Luo Xiaoxian thought that Chu Xia was embarrassed, so she rubbed her shoulders against her, with a flat face on her face. Don't be embarrassed, it's normal for boys to marry in college and girls to marry in college. Chu Xia nodded. Well, I will tell my brother. You are in a hurry to get married. Okay, tell me. He won't marry me right now, Luo Xiaoxian said with a faint sigh. My brother and I have joined the army. My mother and father must be in a panic. Hey. There is an hour's break after dinner. You can go and see your brother. Anyway, he's in a military region, Chu Xia said. Luo Xiaoxian nodded. Okay, you come with me. I'm afraid your brother doesn't want to see me. He dares, Luo Xiaoqiang snorted coldly, it's the second idiot like him who keeps staring at Zhong Hongying's snobbish eyes. By the way, Chu Xia, if my brother really changes, you should still be my sister-in-law. It's up to you to kill Zhong Hongying. Chu Xia. She was really speechless with this thought jump. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. First Marriage Then Love, Mr. Mayor Please Be Kind. Author, Zhao Nuan. Chapter 85. One more. The first meal of the female soldiers of the medical team after arriving in the army was stewed cabbage and pork vermicelli with rice and steamed buns, and the pork was pork belly with fat. When they took the lunch box at the door and went to eat, the sound of swallowing saliva could be heard endlessly. This food was definitely a temptation for most female soldiers. For ordinary families, cabbage vermicelli may not be rare, but pork is too rare, and rice and steamed buns are also rare items. Most people eat cornmeal pancakes, or steamed buns mixed with cornmeal. As for rice, in the north, willing to eat very little. Facing the temptation of delicious food, even if many male soldiers in the canteen look at them from time to time, the female soldiers will not be as shy or curious or reserved as they are on the road. They sit down with a jar and wait for the squad leader to start. Most of the female soldiers' hula eating speed is definitely not inferior to that of male soldiers. Hey, can you be more reserved? Yuan Mengmeng cast a disgusted glance at Sun Shangmei, who was the loudest person on the table. Have you never eaten in your life? Hula. The voice of drinking cabbage soup didn't stop. Hey, feeling the taunts from the male soldiers throwing them over from the aisle? Yuan Mengmeng frowned and smashed Sun Shangmei with chopsticks. No one is robbing you, can you slow down? Everyone's face is embarrassing for you. I'm here to serve as a soldier, not to be your lady. Sun Shangmei continued to pick rice grains into her mouth without raising her head. You. Yuan Mengmeng stared at her bitterly, then stood up suddenly, crack, clapped his hands twice. If you want to see how the pig eats, look here. Sensing the gazes that were cast over her in unison, Sun Shangmei's face turned red. She has 8 brothers and sisters, and if she eats a little slower, she will be hungry, so she is simply used to this way of eating. And never feel ashamed. However, taking it out alone and being watched by so many people at the same time is another matter. She is a high-minded girl, how can she bear this kind of insult? Angrily rushed to the top of his head, without even thinking about it, he punched Yuan Mengmeng's face with his fist. Yuan Mengmeng, who was proud of himself, was unexpected. He was punched solidly, and blood flowed down his nostrils. You village woman, Yuan Mengmeng howled and rushed towards Sun Shangmei. Qiao Ning grabbed Yuan Mengmeng, on the first day of the report. Want to be the focus of the whole army? Yuan Mengmeng, who was suffocating with a burst of anger, stared fiercely at Qiao Ning's eyeballs. You sidestepped the fight. Why didn't you stop her when she beat me? Is it too late? Qiao Ning snorted coldly. How did she know that the two could fight if they didn't agree? From this, it can be predicted how difficult it will be for her to be the class monitor. Why is it too late to pull me? What do you think? Qiao Ning frowned. Okay, I have to throw it back to the dormitory, and don't be surrounded by people like monkeys here. Yang Xiaoli tugged at Yuan Mengmeng, let's eat. And Yuan Mengmeng, who was blushing just now and had a thick neck, responded like a docile kitten, picked up the chopsticks, and shed tears while eating. Sun Shangmei sneered. Just wanted to say a few more words. Noticing that Zhengmeili had come to the table with a serious expression at some point, she shrank back what she said in a guilty conscience. He lowered his head and continued to scrape the rice grains in the bowl. Sun Shangmei, Yuan Mengmeng, go to my office after dinner. Yes. The two of them got up quickly, responded in unison, and then sat back listlessly. Hey, being punished on the first day is really arrogant. What do you know, this is to attract the attention of the leader, don't you know? Using this method to attract the attention of the leaders, is it useful? It may not be useful to get the attention of the leaders, but it should be useful to get the attention of the male soldiers. Haha, do you also want to use this method to find a son-in-law for yourself? I'm not so shameless, I'm shameless, don't you want to learn too? If I can't find a good husband's family in a few years, I will follow suit. You have no face and no skin. 10 people stood under the sun on the main road of the military area, the female soldiers coming and going around them were talking sharply and bitterly, while the male soldiers listened with ears pricked up as they walked, and some secretly smiled with their mouths pursed. Sun Changmei, if it weren't for you, everyone would be ashamed and thrown to the entire military region. The broom star, Yuan Mengmeng said bitterly. You've hurt everyone by yourself, and you put a shit bowl on my head, shameless, Sun Changmei retorted not to be outdone. Okay, don't you two feel embarrassing enough? Jiao Ningyi looked helpless. If you continue to toss, I'm afraid you won't be standing for 2 hours. Lu Meijun answered, our 3 classes are a whole, instead of using this energy to fight among other classes to make other classes laugh, we should train hard and strive to surpass other classes. I agree with Lu Meijun's statement, Chu Xiaojing said, being famous in this way is really not an honorable thing. Who wants to be famous in this way? I reminded her kindly, Yuan Mengmeng said unconvinced. Is there a way to remind you so kindly? Sun Changmei said with hatred on her face, you just want to attract everyone's attention, are you crazy about men? You spitting blood? Sun Changmei, you are crazy about men. Qiao Ningyi looked angry, it seems that you are thinking about standing here forever today. Okay, I will let you all, we will disband after 2 hours, you two continue to quarrel here, it is best to be the first day of the quarrel the report will be kicked out, that way, it will be famous enough. Who wants to quarrel with her? Yuan Mengmeng and Sun Changmei said almost in unison. There is a tacit understanding this time, Qiao Ningyi sighed quietly. Anyway, on the first day of enlistment, the 3rd class was named, and it is estimated that it will take a day or 2 to get this name right. It's over. Yang Xiaoli answered with a smile, there is no need to be so pessimistic. As long as everyone works hard, the 3rd class will be more eye-catching. Is this kind of eye-catching what everyone wants? Qiao Ningyi asked lightly. I can't help it. Things are already like this. I can only accept it calmly. On the first day, everyone doesn't understand the rules and regulations. Moreover, this matter is a dispute between urban and rural areas, and the two of them cannot be completely blamed. Yang Xiaoli's statement clearly meant that she was going to be a good old man. She glanced at her lightly, but Jiao Ningyi didn't say a word. From the attitudes of Yuan Mengmeng and Qi Jihong towards Yang Xiaoli, it can be inferred that Yang Xiaoli's background is definitely not shallow. It can be seen that what she did to her, the class monitor, Yang Xiaoli, felt uncomfortable. Chu Xia is not interested in Si Hao's open and secret fights among several people. Although he is standing there, his mind is always thinking wildly. She is curious about and admires the soldiers of this era. Ever since she set foot on this land, she was excited, but at the same time, she was a little apprehensive. She left home, will her parents be able to adapt? When the train started, the two figures crying and embracing each other made her miss the whole way. Just thinking about that scene made her eyes sore. Parents who treat her like a treasure will eat well after she leaves, right? She agreed that she would try her best to make an appearance and honor them. Feeling her arm being tapped lightly, Luo Xiaoxian turned her head, staring at her with burning eyes. What are you thinking? So engrossed. I miss my parents. Pht, Yuan Mengmeng sputtered, Lin Chuxia, don't you want to be too funny and treat yourself as a baby boy? I miss my parents when I just go out, cough, return to my parents. Are you a bitch? Why do you have business everywhere? Chusia frowned. Are you a fighting cock? Don't you feel uncomfortable if you don't get whipped for a while? On the first day I came, I wanted to ride her neck to shit. Snort. Just because she doesn't cause trouble doesn't mean she's afraid of trouble. Who is the fighting cock? Chiao Ning I stood in front. Shut up, don't talk. Why? Yuan Mengmeng had a provocative face. Captain Zheng only said that he would be punished to stand, but he didn't say that he was not allowed to speak. Does this need a special explanation? Do you think you are a primary school student? Yuan Mengmeng's neck twitched. For me, things that I haven't explained are feasible. You are so afraid of things like you. Are you a primary school student? Meng Meng, don't say a word. Squad leader Chiao is right, we must be conscious. Yang Xiaoli's understatement made Yuan Meng, who was like a fighting cock, cover his mouth. The people present now understood that Meng Meng was making such a fuss because he wanted to save Chiao Ning I's face and build up prestige for Yang Xiaoli. Luo Xiaoxian poked Chu Xia and stuck out her tongue. Chu Xia smiled lightly and said nothing. You can make as much noise as you want, anyway, as long as you don't mess with her, she won't meddle in anyone's affairs. She just needs to do her job well, become a qualified medical soldier, and be able to make her parents live a good life. Well, her ambitions don't seem to be very ambitious, but in this era she is not familiar with at all, she really can't have lofty ambitions. Business. She is not that material. In politics? She doesn't have that brain. Stocks? She doesn't understand trends. Buy lottery tickets? She doesn't know the number. She doesn't say she doesn't know anything about this era, but it's about the same anyway. She may know more things in a few years, but there are not many things that are really practical. As for what others say, she has heard the saying that setting up street stalls in the 1980s can make a fortune, but she really has no confidence that she can do well. Therefore, she should obediently be her own soldier, get into a university if she has the opportunity, and be a public official who has a solid job and is envied by everyone. In other words, the post-90s with good family conditions, come to this era, I really can't afford to be hurt. After finishing the punishment at noon, he would memorize the rules and regulations in the dormitory in the afternoon, which involved the next day's exam, but no one made any more fuss. Go to dinner on time at 6 o'clock, and the day's recruit life is over. Luo Xiaoxian, who was finally free, hurriedly dragged Chu Xia to the male soldiers' dormitory. Chu Xia, who was staggered by her, pouted secretly, not knowing whether she was anxious to see Luo Hunky or Zhao Kuliang. First marriage then love, Mr. Mayor please be kind. Author, Zhao Nuan Nuan. Chapter 86. The two chapters were combined and reworked again. Hey, slow down, why are you in such a hurry? Chu Xia, who tripped over a small stone and almost fell to the ground, was so angry that he pulled Luo Xiaoxian back hard, refusing to move on. Luo Xiaoxian looked a little excited. Okay, I'll take it easy, Chu Xia, I'm excited, my brother doesn't even know about us joining the army, tell me, we appeared in front of him unexpectedly, will it be okay, scared him half to death. Chu Xia pouted, do you want to scare your brother to death or to scare my brother to death? Your brother knows about us coming to serve as a soldier, so it probably won't scare him. Luo Xiaoxian's face was bright, but, do you think he would think of us coming to him? I know that you'll come to him even if you move your toes, Chu Xia thought in her heart, but she didn't dare to say that. If someone was provoked and embarrassed to see Zhao Kuliang, she would become a vicious man who beats Mandarin ducks. Ghost. Maybe he can think of it. He knows about our service as a soldier. The news of our arrival today must have spread a long time ago. He should be able to think of it. Obviously, she was extremely beautiful in her heart, but the expression on her face was disapproving. Hey, it's not fun without surprises. Luo Xiaoxian glanced at the time. As a reward for her joining the army, her father gave her his big watch. Chu Xia, hurry up, there is still an hour and a half. The light-off time is 10 o'clock, but after 8 o'clock, female soldiers are not allowed to stay near the male soldiers' dormitory. As for the male soldiers, they are not allowed to go to the female soldiers' dormitory at all. From this point of view, female soldiers are still tolerant. Is it possible that such a regulation is to allow some male soldiers to find their wives? Chu Xia couldn't help but speculate in her narrow eyes, otherwise, how could she be lenient towards the female soldiers? Anyway, she is full of curiosity about things in this era. Luo Xiaoxian only knew that Luo Hunky was an ordinary soldier in the 1st Regiment, 2nd Battalion, 3rd Company, 2nd Platoon, and 3rd Squad. As for which dormitory to live in, but it is not clear. Therefore, the two of them arrived at the male soldiers' dormitory. Looking at the densely packed room, they were dumbfounded. Finally seeing a small soldier approaching, Luo Xiaoxian grabbed him anxiously. Comrade, may I ask which dormitory Luo Hunky lives in? Xiaobing is about 10 years old. Suddenly, he was grabbed by the female soldier. His face quickly turned red to the base of his ears, and he stammered, Luo Hunky is, who is it? It's my brother. Without even thinking about it, Luo Xiaoxian replied. The corners of Chu Xia's mouth twitched. Big sister, people don't even know who Luo Hunky is, okay. What kind of question are you answering? Sure enough, Xiao Bing's face turned even redder. I'm halfway there. I didn't have a complete sentence, probably because I have grown up so much. I have never been so close to girls, and this place is almost full of old men, pretending to be such a weirdo. It would be strange if Xiaobing didn't blush. Where is the dormitory for the 1st Regiment, the 2nd Battalion, the 3rd Company, the 2nd Row and the 3rd Class? Chu Xia succinctly reported the place he was looking for. Xiaobing obviously breathed a sigh of relief. I'll take you there. It is good. Comrade. Xiaobing glanced at Luo Xiaoxian's little white hand, and quickly looked away. Can I trouble you? Oh. I'm sorry. I forgot. Luo Xiaoxian quickly withdrew her hand and smiled mischievously. When I got excited, I forgot to drag you. Miss, can you have a little more? Chu Xia really wants to stay away from her by 3 feet, pretending not to know her. It's too embarrassing, right? It's here. The soldier stopped at the door of the 3rd room in the 2nd row. This is the dormitory of the 3rd class. Excuse me, good man, do it to the end, go in and call Luo Hunky. Luo Xiaoxian grabbed his sleeve again, and Xiaobing's face turned red again. Calmly, Chu Xia took Luo Xiaoxian's hand into his own, and smiled at Xiaobing. Thank you, please. You're welcome. Xiaobing turned around and walked towards the 3rd class dormitory. In a panic, he tripped his left foot and right leg, and rushed forward. Boom, the door of class 3 was pushed open violently. Strange, why is there not a single male soldier outside? Luo Xiaoxian leaned into Chu Xia's ear and whispered. I don't know. Chu Xia shook her head. She was also very puzzled by this. Normally, it's just after lunch, and it's time for free activities. Why are everyone hiding in the house? In the 3rd class dormitory, a group of male soldiers were sitting around the table seriously writing. When the door was pushed open so suddenly, everyone looked over in surprise. After seeing who the person who broke in was, a male soldier stood up with a smile, and stepped forward to embrace him. Liangzi, you are not studying hard in the dormitory, what are you doing here? Could it be that you want to steal the teacher? Which one is Luo Hunky? Are you looking for Luo Hunky? The male soldier who embraced him looked at Luo Hunky, who was dozing off. Xiao Luo, Liangzi is looking for you. Luo Hunky sat there and continued with his head bit by bit. Are you asleep? The male soldier sitting next to him poked him lightly. Xiao Luo, the roof is on fire, Get up quickly. Ludo Hunky stood up abruptly. Ah! Bucket, where is the bucket? He stood up and looked around as he spoke. Ha ha ha. Everyone was amused by him and laughed. Xiao Ludo, Liangzi is looking for you. Ludo Hunky looked suspiciously at the male soldier named Liangzi. He didn't know him. It's not me looking for you, it's two girls looking for you. Liangzi's face has returned to normal, and she pointed out the door. I brought them here. Girls. Is it the female soldier who came today? It should be. As soon as Liangzi's voice fell, all the male soldiers ran towards the door in unison. When they were about to reach the door, they stopped in unison and looked at Ludo Hunky, who was still in a daze. Xiao Ludo, hurry up, hurry up. Ah, Ludo Hunky was still in a daze. Everyone stroked their foreheads. This brain is missing. They just thought that although Ludo Hunky had good physical strength, his brains were really lacking. He is a big fool, but he is really a big fool worthy of the name. The girls have found the door, but he is still there in a daze. What is it if he is not a fool? Who is looking for me? I don't know. Liangzi shook his head. He just brought them here. How could he know who they were? Go out and have a look. Don't you know who is looking for you? A male soldier who was close to Ludo Hunky said angrily, and pushed him out. I've never seen a Yulin bump like you. Xiaozhang, do you wish the girl would find you? Someone joked. Yes, dare you say that you don't think that way? Hearing everyone's jokes, Ludo Hunky was not happy. Turning around, he looked at everyone seriously. We are soldiers, we can't talk like this. We are soldiers and not monks. Xiaozhang muttered, seeing that Ludo Hunky had a tendency to change his face. He hurriedly said, okay, okay. I was wrong, I shouldn't be joking. Go quickly, don't make people wait. They are looking forward to seeing it first, but, in order not to scare the girl away, they have not shown up until now. Is it easy for them? These two fools. Still here in no hurry. If the little female soldiers outside are scared away, everyone will be at a loss. Elder brother. See Ludo Hunky's big man. Ludo Xiaoxian rushed over excitedly. She didn't have a good relationship with her brother when she was at home, but seeing her brother here, she was so excited. Ludo Hunky, who hadn't come to his senses yet, was staggered by Ludo Xiaoxian, then came back to his senses, pushed his sister away, blushing. Xiaoxian, this is the army. You are my brother. Ludo Xiaoxian frowned. Brother, are you not surprised to see me here? No, brother is of course pleasantly surprised, but... Ludo Hunky's face turned blue and purple. There were a bunch of wolves behind him. He didn't want to be treated as a joke by them after returning to the dormitory. He hates people talking about girls, and he hates them talking about his sister even more. Also because of this reason, the comrades in arms in the class have always had a cold relationship with him, but he really felt that it was wrong for them to do that. Soldiers, how can you talk about girls casually? Ludo Hunky, hello. Chu Xia came over and greeted politely. Lin Chuxia, after sizing up the boss for a while, Ludo Hunky finally recognized who the girl in front of him was. In the past few months since he left, Chu Xia has obviously grown taller and plumper, although she is still pitifully thin. However, when he left, there was already a world of difference. However, even so, he was still very surprised that Chu Xia was able to join the army. With her small body, how could she be selected? You were chosen too. Thinking this way in my heart, I just asked it out of my mouth. Brother, what are you talking about? Ludo Xiaoxian stared at Ludo Hunky unhappily. Of course Chu Xia was chosen by herself, she was chosen entirely on her own ability, and besides, she was almost overtaken by others. If Captain Zeng hadn't visited our house, and now he's here to report, maybe it's fake. Chuxia, you said, the person who can be replaced by others, can't he be chosen by himself? Really? Ludo Hunky still had a look of disbelief. Yes, it's absolutely true, For Ludo Hunky's disregard and contempt for her, Chusia has long adapted and is not angry. Brother, you let me down so much. Fortunately, we wanted to come and see you as soon as we arrived. It's good that you have such an attitude. The other male soldiers of the third squad had already left the room at this time, looking at Ludo Hunky, who was being questioned, with envious expressions on their faces. If only they had such a younger sister. My sister has brought such a beautiful companion over, this is the main thing. The exercise during this period of time made Chusia's face flushed, and her body became more fleshy. Although standing with Ludo Xiaoxian still looked a little too thin, the charm on her body was different from that of ordinary girls. Faintly revealed. This is a place where a girl can make a man's eyes shine. Seeing a girl as beautiful as her, the wolves are absolutely drooling. No matter when, the aesthetics of women and men are different, and in this era, it is even more so. In this day and age, girls think that the most beautiful are those with a strong body and thick eyebrows. Men, on the surface, also think that such a girl is beautiful. However, from the perspective of appreciation, no man would dislike a girl like Chusia, who is a real, feminine beauty. Unlike most girls who are in a hurry, they sometimes ignore their gender. Feeling the eyes of everyone glued to her, Chusia didn't twitch. Of course, she didn't laugh at everyone, it was easy to be misunderstood. Standing next to Ludo Xiaoxian with a pale face, Chusia's detached and worldly charm instantly conquered the hearts of a group of onlookers. But their thoughts? That is, look. Such a girl is by no means free to marry if she wants to, they are afraid that they will not be able to support them. Well, no matter what era we are in, everyone seems to agree with it, a girl who is too beautiful, just look at it and marry it back home. Just forget it. I was scolded by my sister. Ludo Hunky finally came to his senses, and looked at Chuxia embarrassedly. Lin Chuxia, I'm sorry, I don't doubt you, but I think your physical fitness. I know, Chuxia interrupted him, we are medical soldiers. There are also requirements for physical fitness, but the requirements are not so strict. So that's what I said. Ludo Xiaoxian kicked Ludo Hunky's leg in hatred. Brother, if you can't talk, don't say it. If you don't belittle Chuxia, you will die. If Zhong Hongying is standing here, do you think it's normal? How is she? Ludo Hunky, who was standing upright, heard Zhong Hongying's name. Bent down all of a sudden. Looking at his sister's expression, there was a hint of flattery. Ludo Xiaoxian, who was always angry. Seeing his brother's heroic appearance, he became even angrier. Ludo Hunky, do you have any backbone? Wajia is just for your skin, not for your person, why don't you understand? Let me tell you, she also ran for the election this time, but she was rejected. She also said that she will still run for the next time. If she is really elected, do you think she will marry you? Brother, can you wake up? Stop dreaming all day. I didn't ask her to marry me, I just cared about it, Ludo Hunky said unnaturally, and he glanced at the comrades behind him from the corner of his eyes. There are so many people. When his sister leaves, she will definitely be interrogated again. He hates what happens the most. Alas, he has found out that as long as he meets Lin Chuxia, nothing good will happen. Unconsciously, Ludo Hunky looked at Chuxia with such a hint of displeasure. Noticing Ludo Hunky's hostility, Chuxia was a little puzzled. Why did she provoke him? She had said a long time ago that she would not marry him, nor would she like him. Moreover, she had already divorced him, so she really couldn't understand where his hostility towards her came from. She couldn't figure it out, and she didn't bother to think about it, so she turned her eyes to other places to look around. There are 10 dormitories in a row, except for this one, the doors of the other rooms are tightly closed, it's so strange. Thinking of this, she simply took 2 steps forward and looked at Ludo Hunky's comrade in arms. I want to ask, Why do you close the door so tightly? Are you not allowed to come out after dinner? Is this asking them questions? Such a beautiful girl took the initiative to talk to them. Is it true? Everyone stared at Chuxia blankly, with disbelief on their faces. Chuxia sighed helplessly. She was speaking Chinese. Why do these people look like they don't understand? Thinking back carefully, she spoke Mandarin, not a local dialect, so why couldn't they understand it? Forget it if you don't understand. She took a step back and looked around again. At this time, the male soldier named Xiao Zhang was the first to react, and hurriedly said, "Everyone is preparing for the exam during this time." Preparation for the exam. For a moment, Chu Xia suddenly realized, is it for the military academy? That's right, you're so smart. The army issued a new rule this year. All recruits are eligible to take the military academy exam. Now, everyone is working hard. If you go to the military academy, you will be an officer when you come out. It will be of great benefit to your future development. Otherwise, you can only suffer bitterly. Many people are sent out of the army before they can stay. So that's the case. Chu Xia nodded. When is the exam? There are still 3 months. 3 months, Chu Xia was thinking, in 3 months, could she also consider going to a military academy? Luo Xiaoxian, who was talking to Luo Hunky over there, had also been paying attention to the movement here, and immediately pulled Chu Xia over. No, you can't leave me alone, you have to wait for me for a year and take the exam next year. Her culture class is not as good as Chu Xia's, and she is not sure about this year's exam, so that's why she asks Chu Xia so much. Okay, I'll listen to you and take the exam next year. Chu Xia looked helpless. She was just thinking about it. Moreover, it's a matter of whether or not these medical soldiers are allowed to take the test. Look at her, it seems that she is really going to take the test. Are you doing well in your homework? The eyes of the male soldier who had been talking to Chu Xia lit up. Generally, Chu Xia said. We have questions that we don't know, can I ask you? The male soldier asked again. Soldier, can you go to the female soldier's dormitory? A male soldier next to him poked him and said with a smile. The male soldier's face collapsed. Yes, this rule is too unfair. Okay, let's go. Luo Hunky pulled the face and issued the order to evict the guest. He couldn't bear Chu Xia's initiative to strike up a conversation with the male soldier. In his heart, he was secretly glad that he didn't like her. Otherwise, if you make a kiss with her and see her talking to a man like this, won't he be pissed off? He just said, his father and mother were fooled by this girl. This is not a person who lives a peaceful life at all. If he wants to live, he still needs a woman like Zhong Hongying. Thinking of Zhong Hongying, his eyes were unconsciously filled with warmth again. If only she could join the army too. Hey, the conditions are obviously better than Lin Chuxia's. Why was she not chosen, but Lin Chuxia was chosen? I won't come to see you again. Luo Xiaoxian pushed Luo Hunky, snorted bitterly, and left Chu Xia. I was just pretending to be affectionate, thinking you missed me too. Luo Hunky, if I come to see you again in the future I'll go upside down. My younger sister is becoming more and more savage, and she was influenced by being with Lin Chuxia. Zhong Hongying is better. Until Luo Xiaoxian dragged Chu Xia far away, Luo Hunky still stood there in a daze. Hey, are you alright? A male soldier stepped forward and tugged at him. Your sister is gone, why are you still standing here? Yes, if you regret it, coax her another day. Think about it too, your sister came all the way to see you, how could you treat her like that? You. That's right. If my sister treats me like this, it's too late for me to be happy. How can I scold her? Luo Hunky, I don't know what you think about your temper. If I were your sister, I would never come to see you again. I was scolded the first time I came. Who would want to come again? That's right, you, hey, You don't know how to be blessed when you are blessed. Hearing everyone's discussion, Ludo Hunky's lips moved, but he didn't say a word. In his opinion, they were all fooled by Lin Chuxia's superficial image. They couldn't listen to what he said. Forget it, in time, everyone will understand why he did what he did. Of course, it's okay even if everyone doesn't understand. He was specially recruited because of his excellent physical fitness. He is not comparable to them. Why should he care what they think? Entrance to military school? Hey, thinking of this, he has a headache, he hates words by nature, and he gets sleepy when he reads a book. If he keeps living like this for the next 3 months, he really feels that life is worse than death. However, everyone is reviewing, so it's not easy for him to be special, is he? I don't know what to do. If I do it again, I'll turn around after walking for a long time. Ludo Xiaoxian was still full of anger. Okay, don't be angry. By the way, are you going to see your elder brother? Chu Xia hurriedly added, I'm talking about my elder brother, Zhaoqi Liang. I'm not going, I'm full of anger today. Ludo Xiaoxian shook her arms resentfully. With my current mood, I'm afraid to see him take his anger out on him. Hey. Okay, let's go back first. There was a smile on the corner of Chu Xia's lips. She was worried that Zhaoqi Liang would be frightened by her frantic appearance now. A hot-tempered girl will become gentle only when facing her lover. I don't know if one day, when she meets a boy she likes, she will also be like Ludo Xiaoxian. 2. Please wait. 2 little comrades, please wait a moment. Did you call us? Chu Xia said and turned around, and saw a tall, handsome man running over quickly. Sorry to bother you. The male soldier stopped in front of the two of them, with a look of embarrassment. If it wasn't for something urgent, I wouldn't bother you, I'm really sorry. If you have something to say, can you stop being so wordy? Ludo Xiaoxian, who was in a fit of anger, spoke a little rudely. Although the male soldier commander is very good looking, but she already has brother Qi Liang, no matter how good looking he is, he will shut her down. What's up? The male soldier's bright eyes were stained with a smile. My sister should have just arrived today, and she lives in the same place as you, but she probably doesn't know that I'm transferred here, so I want you to give her take a message and come over when you have time. First marriage then love. Mr. Mayor, please be kind. Author, Zhao Nuan. Chapter 87. It will be updated today, and it will be added tomorrow. From tomorrow onwards, the first marriage will not be delayed so late. Where did you two go at night? Chu Xia and Ludo Xiaoxian had just stepped into the door of the dormitory when Sun Shangmei stepped forward to question. Ludo Xiaoxian glanced at her lightly. What's none of your business? Chu Xia didn't even glance at her, and went straight to Qiaoning Ai, squad leader. Your brother gave you time to go to the 3rd Battalion of the 1st Regiment to find him. My brother, Qiaoning Ai, who was sorting out the class manual, stared at Chu Xia suspiciously. Are you sure it's my brother who is looking for me? She has never met her brother, how can she be sure that it is her brother who is looking for her? He said that he was originally in the B military region, and he was transferred to province last week. Before he had time to inform your family, he said that he saw your name on the recruit list. After checking the address, he was sure that you were his sister. Chu Xia said. Hearing what Chu Xia said, Qiaoning Ai laughed. That should be my brother. Thank you for bringing me the news, Lin Chuxia. You two actually went to the male soldier's dormitory? Hey, let me tell you, do you have any sense of shame? You are here to serve as soldiers, not to find men. How did your parents teach you? Two fellow villagers, Sun Shangmei, who didn't care about her, felt that she had hurt her face and fell into a state of rage. Ludo Xiaoxian pointed at her coldly. Try saying one more sentence, believe it or not, I will beat you to death. Immature girl, it seems that your parents are not good things. Snapped. Sun Shangmei stared in amazement at Chu Xia, who suddenly appeared in front of her, exuding anger all over her body. With an unbelievable face, if you say it. It was Luo Xiaoxian who made this move, and she might still be able to accept it. Lin Chuxia, who was as thin as a kitten, actually, slapped her in the face. Sun Shangmei, who came back to his senses, rushed towards Chu Xia like crazy, and really started to fight. Naturally, the thin Chu Xia was no match for the tall and strong Sun Shangmei. Ah! Sun Shangmei's scream completely woke up all the people who had been cast with the immobilization spell, and one by one hurried forward to pull and drag to separate the two. "Are you a dog?" Sun Shangmei, who was dragged away, rolled up her sleeves, and saw the bloodshot teeth marks in a circle. "Inhale cold air in pain. If you beat me to death, is it possible that I will suffer in vain?" Chu Xia, whose hair was messed up like a chicken coop and whose forehead was bruised, looked much more embarrassed than Sun Shangmei. While pressing back and forth on Chu Xia's body to check the injuries, Luo Xiaoxian muttered apologetically, "Why didn't you wait for me to do it? I've never seen you like this before. I scared you silly all of a sudden, and forgot to ask for it. I stepped forward to help. Does it hurt here?" "What about here?" "Here. Everyone has a black line." Sun Shangmei was so angry that her face was deformed. Qiao Ning'ai hurriedly tugged at her, fearing that she would be unaware. She rushed out again, "We have to live together for at least 3 months. This is only the first day, and it's like this. How will we get along with each other in the future? Who wants to make trouble with them? If it wasn't for the collective honor, I wouldn't bother to care where they go." Sun Shangmei gritted her teeth. Luo Xiaoxian sneered, "Sun Shangmei. I went to see my brother, and Chu Xia went to see her brother. Who is being humiliated? Who stipulated that he should be a soldier? You can't even see relatives of the opposite sex? Don't take your anger out on us. If you don't feel uncomfortable as the class monitor and deputy class monitor, let us take the blame for you. It's not that easy. To see brother? To see brother Qing, right?" Sun Shangmei sneered, "Shameless. What are you doing?" accompanied by shouts. ZenMaleLead appeared at the door, frowning. "Qiao Ning'ai, bring Lin Chuxia, Luo Xiaoxian and Sun Shangmei to my office." ZenMaleLead stared coldly at the few people standing in front of her. "It's only the first day I came here, and this is what happened. You really opened my eyes. Tell me, what's going on?" On the first day, they ran to the male soldiers' dormitory. "I don't think this kind of behavior is appropriate," so I kindly reminded them, who would have known that not only would they not listen, but they would even beat them, Sun Shangmei said first. "Is that the case?" Luo Xiaoxian sneered, "Sun Shangmei, are you kind enough to remind us? Now you still put a high hat on yourself, are you shameless? Wasn't you the one who hit first?" Sun Shangmei looked at Chuxia. "Lin Chuxia, do you dare to say that you didn't strike first?" "That's right, I was the one who moved first." "Captain, did you hear that?" She admitted it. Sun Shangmei looked at ZenMaleLead with a victorious face. "Do you dare to tell the truth about the situation at that time?" ZenMaleLead looked at the faces of several people fidgeting. "Don't defend yourself with personal emotions, and don't exalt yourself to smear yourself. Others, I want the most authentic answer. Of course, after you have said that, I will confront squad leader Qiao. If anyone has lied, go to the cafeteria tomorrow morning and shout 3 times in front of every group of officers and soldiers eating, 'I was wrong. I'll come first.'" Luo Xiaoxian recounted the situation after she and Chu Xia entered the door, and then looked at Qiao Ning'ai, "Squad leader, what I said is not personal, right?" Qiao Ning'ai nodded, "No." After a little hesitation, Sun Shangmei repeated it again. This time she didn't force her words, but added a sentence at the end, "No matter what, Lin Chuxia can't hit someone without saying a word. You can say whatever you want, but you can't insult my parents." Chu Xia stared at her seriously. "If you still insult my parents like this next time, I will still beat you up." Zenmei stroked her forehead with a headache. This matter was really beyond her expectation. When Yuan Mengmeng came to say that there was a fight in the third-class dormitory, she never expected that the protagonist would be Lin Chuxia. Such a weak girl, unexpectedly. Sun Shangmei, first of all, I want to tell you something. Luo Xiaoxiang and Lin Chuxia went to the male soldiers' dormitory to inform me. Luo Xiaoxiang's own brother and Lin Chuxia's eldest cousin are both serving in the same regiment. They want to visit their relatives in the past, and they are both emotional and reasonable. Moreover, our military region allows this kind of temptation. Of course, I know that you are thinking about the overall image of the female soldiers. Well, yes, that's right. However, in the future, I have to clarify the matter before questioning, and it is best to pay attention to the wording and tone. After all, they are comrades in arms, not enemies, right? Luo Xiaoxiang, how about you? When Sun Shangmei questioned you, you should explain the whole story to her in a calm tone. This is not to explain to her alone, but to let all the female soldiers know the truth of the matter, and how it will affect you. That's good too, right? Yes. Yes. Whether they like it or not, the two agreed in unison. Zenmei's gaze turned to Chuxia again. Lin Chuxia, what about you? It's even more wrong. Even if Sun Shangmei's words are not nice, you can't just do it without saying a word. You are a person who threatens her in front of me. Bing, not a bandit leader. Chuxia's lips moved, but she didn't make a sound. Obviously, she was not convinced. Because this is your first day of registration, I won't give you any punishment. If it happens again, don't blame me for being rude. Qiaoning I, take Sun Shangmei and Luo Xiaoxiang back. Lin Chuxia, stay down. Team leader. Zenmei interrupted Luo Xiaoxiang, this is the army, and obeying orders is the bounden duty of a soldier. Also, when you come here, you are an independent soldier. You can't be tied up with Lin Chuxia in everything, including fighting. Also, if you go down, let me know that you help Lin Chuxia indiscriminately for the first time, and I will transfer you to another class. When Zenmei said this, Luo Xiaoxiang was really scared, so she could only reply lazily, and walked out behind Qiaoning II. When she reached the door, she couldn't help but glance back at Chuxia. The worry was completely on her face. Is she that fierce? So that she looked at her like a big bad wolf? Zenmei glanced at Luo Xiaoxiang, it seems that you really want to be transferred from class 3. Captain, I want to say goodbye to you. Following the words, Luo Xiaoxiang ran away without a trace. Do you know why I left you alone? Chuxia nodded, I know, because I did it first. With your body, you dare to attack first, you are quite courageous. Zenmei stood up, opened a cabinet against the wall, and took out a small medicine box. Have you ever thought about it? What if you get beaten? It's broken, what should I do? Chuxia was taken aback for a moment, then shook her head, I didn't think so. She really didn't think about it? When she heard that Sun Shangmei insulted her parents, she became angry. She is different from others, she has two sets of parents. In that time and space, maybe she will never see her again in her whole life. She has never repaid the favor of nurturing, and she has always made them angry. She is very guilty. In this time and space, he put all his energy on her, and for her, he could give up everything, which moved her extremely. Therefore, no matter which pair they are her reverse scales, and no one can speak ill of them. Thinking of this in her heart, the expression on Chuxia's face kept changing. Zenmei sighed helplessly, and held up a cotton swab to help her wipe her forehead. You, too, have a stubborn temper. You usually look soft and docile. After a while, why are you twisting like this? Chuxia was taken aback by the other party's actions, and then quickly thanked her. Thank you, you are all my soldiers. I don't want all of you to be skinny and hairless. Well, she couldn't tell the truth, so she could only use this excuse. I don't know if the wound on her forehead will heal after 2 days. Seeing people like this is really. Is there any injury on your body? After wiping her forehead, Zenmali looked at Chusia inquiringly. No matter where you are injured, don't be embarrassed, there is no one else here, and the windows are all blocked. No, nothing else was hurt. Chusia hurriedly interrupted Zenmali, listening to the other party's words. Why did it seem like she was hurt in some shameful way? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. First marriage then love, Mr. Mayor please be kind. Author, Zhao Nuan. Chapter 88. One more. Take these medicines back, and remember to apply them twice a day. Zenmali handed 2 tubes of ointment for promoting blood circulation and removing blood stasis to Chusia. Remember, in the future, the way to solve problems is not only hands-on. Yes, kindly reminded, Chusia would not refute. Lin Chuxia. After a short pause, Zenmali waved her hand. Go back, get some rest earlier, and don't fail the exam tomorrow. She was talking about the Rules and Regulations exam, which is the first exam for recruits. Yes, Chusia replied, and withdrew, wondering. She always felt that Zenmali paid special attention to her. From the selection last time, to the medicine gift this time. Chusia. Luo Xiaoxian came over to the girls' dormitory area with a worried face. Did Captain Zhang scold you? No. Chusia shook his head, feeling warm in his heart. Have you been waiting here all this time? Yeah. Luo Xiaoxian curled her lips. If it wasn't for the fear of being discovered by Captain Zhang, why would I have to wait so far? There must be a ghost in our dormitory, otherwise, how could Captain Zhang find out about the fight so quickly? Chusia, let's be careful what we say in the future. Okay, I know. However, early summer, you really impressed me today. I always thought that although you used to have a bad temper, you only dared to be fierce to your family members. Later, you finally stopped being fierce to your family members, but outsiders are more like you. Sheep. Every time your uncle and sister-in-law bullied you, they acted so soft. Today, it finally took me by surprise. Chusia. That's all for now. People who are good are bullied, and horses who are good are ridden by others. The more you hold back, the more some people will bully you. If you really get hard, they will be afraid. It doesn't matter if you can't beat it, isn't there me? In the future, no matter who you fight with, it will be counted as me. Today, the main reason is that you didn't react, or else Sun Shangmei will definitely turn into a pig, and tell you, I regret it. I have written down this account. Okay. Hearing someone talking more and more vigorously, Chusia hurriedly interrupted her. Captain Zhang has already warned me that fighting is not the only way to solve the problem. If I hadn't reported for duty on the first day today, I would have been locked up by now. In the future, try to avoid such things as much as possible. It would be too embarrassing to be driven back, wouldn't it? Then let them bully you. Luo Xiaoxian frowned. A look of reluctance. The rules and regulations are not just for us. In the future, Sun Shangmei will not dare to do this. Of course, if you really want to take shit on our necks, we can't let it, right? Luo Xiaoxian nodded. That's about the same. Anyway, I will advance and retreat with you. Advance and retreat with me? Chusia smiled and shook his head. If you really advance and retreat with me, you will be farther and farther away from the position of monitor. It's far away. I can't just throw away your good friend just to fight for the position of monitor, but you don't have to be so unconfident. Although your body is a bit weak, you are good at culture. If you work hard, let alone me, you can fight for the position of monitor. Forgive me. Chusia shook his head with a wry smile. Can you imagine, I take everyone out to practice, and then, I'm exhausted and half dead in the back. Hee hee. Luo Xiaoxian scratched her head and laughed. Yes, it's really hard for you, so just work harder and don't hold me back. I'll fight for the position of monitor, how about it? Chu Xia nodded. Okay, I'll work harder, try not to hold you back, cut out things that don't match your appearance, and say that you can't throw away my good friend for the position of monitor. In fact, it's just an excuse. If I can't be chosen, I say it's for me, but if I get chosen, I'm still not sure how to be happy. Chu Xia, you're so smart, how do you know I'm using you as a shield? Luo Xiaoxian giggled. Humans, you have to find some reason for yourself, right? For your size, bad friend. I'm basically a good friend, how can I be a bad friend? A good friend can use a friend as a stepping stone. Sacrificing for me once in a while, it's not in vain that I've always been so good to you, right? The bickering between the two not only didn't make Chu Xia angry, but made her heart warm. This deity is really blessed, thinking that in her own time, she didn't have such a friend who was considerate of her. This was obviously because she was worried that she would have a psychological burden, and deliberately said such words to relieve her. Thinking about it this way, even though Aunt Fat and Luo Gangshun were a bit selfish back then, they were still kind enough to Lin Baohe and his wife afterwards. In fact, thinking about it carefully, even if Luo Gangshun took the responsibility on himself back then, it still couldn't change the fact that Lin Baohe put food in his pockets. In the end, both of them could only be punished. Then, in the next few years, it is impossible for Luo Gangshun and his wife to help Lin Baohe. In this way, Chu Xia's grudge against Aunt Fat really disappeared. When the two walked into the dormitory, everyone's eyes were cast on them in unison. Qiao Ning smiled at the two of them. The water room will be closed in a while, you two should go wash up quickly. Thank you. The two thanked each other, took out the basin from under the bed, and went to the bathroom. Lin Chuxia, are you okay? Lu Meijun followed. It's okay. Chu Xia shook her head and smiled at her. Thank you for your concern. No, 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 Lu Meijun smiled and waved her hands. We are comrades in arms, and we should care about each other. Did they say anything? Luo Xiaoxian asked curiously. Sun Shangmei kept a sullen face and didn't speak after coming back, and class leader Qiao did what he was supposed to do. Lu Meijun sighed. I have friends in other classes, and they are very united. By the way, I heard from my friend that our class is absolutely crouching tiger, hidden dragon. From now on, news of absolute will never stop. How about crouching tiger, hidden dragon? Luo Xiaoxian asked curiously. Yang Xiaoli's father is the mayor of City A, and her grandfather has just retired from the position of governor. There are two uncles in the family, and their official positions are not small. Yuan Mingmeng's father is the director of the Agricultural Machinery Bureau, otherwise why would she be so flattering to Yang Xiaoli? Qi Jihong's father is also Yang Xiaoli's father's subordinate, and seems to be the director of the Education Bureau. You said, can these people willingly obey squad leader Qiao's command? I think, what happened tonight might be the letter they reported. In the days to come, squad leader Qiao will be very sad. Yang Xiaoli is well known in the circle for her domineering. How can she be honestly squad leader Qiao's deputy? How do you know so clearly? Chu Xia asked suspiciously after spitting out the mouthwash. The father of a comrade in arms in my friend's class is the secretary of the municipal party committee of City A. He is obviously the leader, but Yang Xiaoli's father is so suppressed that he can't hold his head up. She was also angry in her heart, so she made the report on the first day, so she explained Yang Xiaoli's affairs clearly. I went to my friend, and I happened to hear the general idea, and asked a few more questions, he. Lu Meijun was a little embarrassed about her gossip. Fighting between gods has nothing to do with us mortals. Chu Xia spread his hands. Squad leader Qiao is definitely not a simple one. If you don't believe me, Just watch. Luo Xiaoxian nodded. I can see that, based on her behavior, she is definitely not a child of an ordinary farmer's family. I even think that she got on the bus halfway to cover up her identity. In this case, it will be even more chaotic. Lu Meijun shook her head helplessly. I just want to be a simple female medical soldier. Why am I assigned to such a class? Didn't Chu Xia say that fighting between gods has nothing to do with mortals? Let's just train hard. By the way. Luo Xiaoxian put his hand on Lu Meijun's shoulder. Why are you so kind to us? I always want to find a partner, right? Yang Xiaoli's gang doesn't seem to be able to get along with me at first glance. Squad leader Chiao, it looks very easy to talk to, but he is indifferent to everyone. Sun Shangmei's desire for power too much. Well, such a person does not need friends. The relationship between Lin Mengran and Chu Xiaojing is very good, and it seems that they don't like other people mixing in between them. The relationship between the two of you is no worse than the relationship between Lin Mengran and Chu Xiaojing, but the way you get along unlike them. I believe that as long as I am kind, you don't mind having one more friend, right? Chu Xia gave her a thumbs up. You don't want to be a psychiatrist, it's too bad. I have really studied psychology. Let me tell you, my grandfather is a psychiatrist, but... Lu Xiaojun's expression darkened, and then he changed the subject. Let's go back, let the administrator come and chase me. Not good. Nothing to say all night. At 5 o'clock in the morning, the wake-up call sounds. The recruit squads were in a hurry. Although they didn't wake up late at home, when did they wake up at 5 o'clock? Chu Xia, who never got up before 7 o'clock, covered her head with the quilt and squinted away again. Luo Xiaoxian, who was busy putting on clothes, saw that the quilt leading the bed was bulging and motionless, and bent down anxiously to pat the bulge. Get up, Chu Xia, get up quickly. It's morning exercises. I can't come here. Yesterday the captain didn't. I told you, get up quickly. The belt hadn't been fastened yet, and the trousers were a little loose. Luo Xiaoxian swayed her body to take pictures of Chu Xia, and the trousers fell to her heels, revealing her white thighs. Chu Xia, who sat up in a daze, saw Luo Xiaoxian frantically pulling up his pants, and immediately woke up. He wanted to laugh but was afraid that Luo Xiaoxian would get angry, so he could only hold back his clothes desperately. The more anxious she was, the more mistakes she made. She accidentally put on the clothes backwards, so she quickly took them off and put them on again. Chu Xia, hurry up! Lu Meijun yelled and rushed out. Only Chu Xia and Luo Xiaoxian were left in the room. You go out first, I'll be fine soon. Hurry up, don't be wordy, Luo Xiaoxian said while helping Chu Xia tidy up her clothes in a hurry. First marriage then love. Mr. Mayor, please be kind. Author, Zhao Nuan. Chapter 89. The second update arrives, and there will be another update tonight. Please support me. Pink tickets, staring at the stars. Team, Captain. Chu Xia and Luo Xiaoxian rushed to the door with the basin in their arms, feeling dark in front of their eyes. They hurriedly stopped their steps, and saw ZhenMaleLead standing at the door expressionlessly. After staring at the two of them, ZhenMaleLead walked away from the door. She didn't say anything, and the two of them didn't dare to leave. They just stood there staring at ZhenMaleLead with big eyes. With a faint sigh, ZhenMaleLead looked helpless. I said yesterday that as soon as the wake-up call rings, you have to wash up with the basin in 2 minutes, and finish all housework within 10 minutes. Can you do it? Whoosh, the moment ZhenMaleLead finished speaking, the two of them had already disappeared. Joke, if you delay, let alone 10 minutes, they won't be able to finish housekeeping in 15 minutes. The two rushed to the pool as if they were fighting. Luo Xiaoxian took advantage of her strength and squeezed out a gap. First, she filled her tooth jar with water and handed it to Chu Xia. The hand puts the basin under the faucet to occupy a good position. When she filled the basin with water, Chu Xia had already finished brushing her teeth, and came over and stroked her face repeatedly, then quickly poured it to help Logoziokshan collect the water. With the cooperation of the two, they stepped on their tails for 10 minutes and appeared in the line that had already lined up in front of the door. Zenmaleigh glanced around, and without saying a word, entered Class 1 dormitory, then Class 2, all the way to Class 10. After returning to the front of the line, he raised the small notebook in his hand. I read the name. Come out. Wang Xiahua, Zhang Chunmei, Li Yuhua, Lin Mengran, Lin Chuxia. A row of 10 people stood in front of the line. Do you know why I let you out? Zenmaleigh pointed to the dormitory behind her. Go in and take a look at the quilts you made. That's called making quilts? Are dog burritos better than yours? Puff. There was laughter in the team. After being stared at by Zenmaleigh, she immediately calmed down. Several people stood there with their heads bowed, their expressions expressionless. Okay, it's time for morning exercises. Go around the playground 5 times. Those who finish running can come back early to rest and have breakfast at 7 o'clock. Those who have rolled quilts like dog burritos, 10 laps, can only eat after running. If it's past lunchtime, wait until lunchtime. Report. Get out. Logoziokshan stood up. Report to Captain Zen, I request that I run 10 laps instead of Lin Chuxia. Why? I folded her quilt, and she folded mine. Really? Zenmaleigh walked up to Chuxia. Tell me, is what she said true? Said to be? Seems wrong, say no. It doesn't seem right. Chuxia is in a dilemma. Zenmaleigh has already turned her face. Logoziokshan, can you eat Lin Chuxia's meal for her? Do you want to wear Lin Chuxia's clothes? Does Lin Chuxia have to sleep with you too? Does Lin Chuxia want you to replace her? Report to Captain Zen, no. This time. Logoziokshan was not silent anymore. Yes, there is finally one thing you can't replace. I said yesterday that if you are so out of tune again, I will transfer you to another class. Do you think you are doing this for Lin Chuxia's good? Then let me ask you, when it's time to work, can you do everything for her? The medical team trains medical personnel with the ability to work independently, not young ladies who need to take care of everything. You are here to serve as soldiers, not to take care of children. Worried, gloating, indifferent, watching a joke, and other expressions, all kinds of expressions were staged when Zenmaleigh talked more and more impolitely. Logoziokshan's face was flushed red, but she couldn't find any words to refute. Just now, she just got hot in her head, thinking that Chuxia's body would not be able to run down 10 laps, so she stood up. If she had known that Zenmaleigh would say these things, she wouldn't have stood up, and saved the meal for Chuxia, and then ran with her. Chuxia's complexion is also not good. In the past 2 days, Logoziokshan has been troubled by her more than once. Her teeth are on her lips, and her mouth is full of salty taste. When Zenmaleigh turned her head and saw Chuxia's appearance, she was taken aback, and quickly stopped talking. Okay, sorry, today is the first day I committed a crime, and I will let it go. However, from tomorrow onwards, if this kind of situation happens again, don't blame me for being rude. That's fine, you guys go back to the team and run 5 laps. After a long pause, several people realized what was going on, answered yes unevenly, and returned to the team one by one. Everyone was a little puzzled by Zenmaleigh's change of attitude, but during the next morning exercise time, everyone became a lot quieter. The playground is an 800-meter lap. After 2 laps, some players with poor physical strength slowed down. Then, sparsely, in small clusters, scattered throughout the playground. The male and female soldiers who have passed the recruiting period are all trained in several large playgrounds. Therefore, there are only 100 medical female soldiers in the middle playground here, and it is considered quiet. Zenmaleigh is standing at the starting point, holding a stopwatch in her hand. On the first day, why are you being so cruel? Liang Xiangyang walked over. Hey, with a sigh, Zhenmei recounted what happened last night, and finally said, I have to evaluate the physical fitness of all the team members. The first morning exercise today, I ask those who finish running early to eat first. I believe that everyone will try their best to finish running early. For the next training, I want to make a detailed plan and treat everyone differently according to their physical fitness, or else. Liang Xiangyang waved his hand. Xiao Zheng, the physical fitness requirements of medical soldiers are not as high as those of ordinary soldiers. However, in the army, where the strong are respected, if you treat them differently, it is tantamount to rejecting those with poor physical fitness. Female soldiers. You have good intentions to treat them step by step, but in their view, it is a kind of negation. This approach may destroy some capable talents. But are you worried that female soldiers like Lin Chuxia may not be able to catch up with the training progress, keep hanging at the end of the car, and then lose all confidence? Yes. Zhenmei nodded. There are about 20 female soldiers like her. It will be very difficult for them to train with the large army. Since you have been selected, you must be treated equally. Liang Xiangyang smiled. Do what you want, don't be special, you are not helping her, understand? Zhenmei blushed when she was told about the central matter. Dean. Okay, let's continue training. Liang Xiangyang waved his hand, turned around and took 2 steps, and then turned back. I entrusted them to you for training because I believe you have the ability to bring them to the main playground earlier. Yes, Zhenmei's eyebrows lit up. After 3 laps, the bellows pulled up in Chu Xia's throat. Although she had been exercising before, had Bao ever done such a high-intensity exercise? Luo Xiaoxian has been following her, advancing with her rhythm. Xiaoxian, leave me alone, run away. I'll accompany you. If you persist, I will apply for transfer from shift 3. I'll accompany you. I'm not joking. Chu Xia's voice became serious. I'm very tired, don't let me waste my energy, okay? Early summer. I will do what I say. Chu Xia's voice was resolute. Chu Xia, I'll accompany you for a day, okay? Luo Xiaoxian had no choice but to soften his tone to discuss. No, Xiaoxian, don't force me. Chu Xia. Luo Xiaoxian was still a little unwilling. Her mother said, let her take good care of Lin Chuxia. Her mother also said that Chu Xia is her sister-in-law. If she treats Chu Xia well, Zhao Qiliang will definitely treat her well, okay. Even if it's not for these reasons, she still really wants to be with Chu Xia. These are just reasons for her to give herself firm confidence. Chu Xia accelerated without saying a word, her face was flushed red, sweat was sticking to her forehead, dripping down her curly hair, her beautiful face had an abnormal blush, her eyes looked a little trance. Seeing her like this, Luo Xiaoxian was terrified, and hurriedly said, Chu Xia, I'll listen to you, I'll listen to you, don't speed up, run slowly, I'll run first. 4 laps. Chu Xia felt that her legs were heavy with lead, and her throat was about to catch fire. If she hadn't kept thinking about not letting her parents down, she would have collapsed long ago. A playground with a circle of 800 meters, 4 laps is 3,200 meters, walking, she may be fine, trotting, she really can't. She is now second to last, and the female soldier behind her looks similar to her. It is estimated that the 2 of them are 2 wonderful flowers in the medical team. Sun Shangmei was the first to run. Seeing the 2 thin figures in front of her, she twitched her mouth and put more effort into her feet to catch up. Lin Chuxia, work harder for me, don't lose face to our red flag commune. Chu Xia rolled his eyes, lost your sister, the red flag commune has nothing to do with me. Are you not convinced? Sun Shangmei smiled triumphantly after receiving Chu Xia's dissatisfaction. If you are not convinced, you can chase me and run with me. Let me tell you that I have already finished running. I will give up my life to accompany you. Quainer, how is it? Roll your eyes again in early summer, big bull. Disgraceful, Sun Changmei muttered, speeding up her efforts and throwing Chu Xia far away. Throw away your sister. Chu Xia has fallen into a state of confusion now, but her mind is extremely clear, her legs are moving mechanically, and she feels that the female soldier behind her is speeding up, and she also speeds up desperately. No matter what, if you can be the second to last, you will definitely not be the last. So promising. Is there any? First marriage then love, Mr. Mayor please be kind. Author, Zhao Nuan. Chapter 90. It's 3 o'clock. Captain, are you back? Just as Zhou Mikang took out the documents in his bag, the office door was pushed open, and Zhou Hanliang walked in. And responding lightly, Zhou Mikang continued his movements. Isn't it good to study? Head, didn't you say it will take another week? It's okay, I'm just curious. In fact, I miss you very much and look forward to your return soon. No, I'm so excited when I see you, hee hee. Humph. With a cold snort, Zhou Mikang waved his hand, go on your own. Leader, shall I report to you about my work during this period? Didn't you report to me every day? That. Zhou Hanliang sneered, what I said on the phone is always not clear enough, I'm afraid I might miss something. If you say so, you won't miss it. Zhou Mikang glanced at him, collect a copy of the materials for me. If there are still things missing, you know what to do. Yes, Zhou Hanliang walked out of the office wearily, he just looked for cigarettes, okay. However, God knows how disturbed he was. If the boss knows, will he kill him? Unconsciously, he shrunk his neck, and with a chuck, he got into his office, thinking hard and writing a work report. After writing a few words, he quickly got up again, walked to the door, looked around, and quickly walked to the teacher's office. Su Zhenghong was drinking tea and reading the military newspaper. When he heard a knock on the door, he put down the newspaper, come in. Teacher. Zhou Hanliang stepped over to Su Zhenghong's desk in 2 or 3 steps. Master, do you know that the head is back? What do you think? Su Zhenghong stared at him. With a speechless face, he is the teacher. If he didn't know that his soldiers had returned, wouldn't the division commander be too unqualified? No, that's not what I meant. Zhou Hanliang hurriedly explained, what I mean is, what should I do next about hugging? What should I do? Su Zhenghong looked at him suspiciously, Xiaozhou, did you get scared out of his wits? We just recruited a group of female soldiers and did nothing else. What is there to be afraid of? Of course I'm not afraid of this, but... Zhou Hanliang moved forward and lowered his voice, tomorrow, madam. Su Zhenghong's body was shocked, it's bad, why did I ignore this matter? This kid said he would come back in a week, and suddenly popped up like this, what can we do with the plans behind? Can you think of a way to transfer the leader? Su Zhenghong's eyes lit up, tune the tiger away from the mountain. Zhou Hanliang had black lines all over his head, you can also say that. But right now, there is nothing to divert the tiger away from the mountain. Su Zhenghong stroked his forehead with a headache. Why did he come back early, alas? Teacher, I beg you, don't repeat these few sentences. What we need now is a solution. Zhou Hanliang looked bitter, if the head of the group knows that I have told my wife behind his back, will you help me, let the lady do this. He can definitely skin me. I'm not afraid of him skinning me, but the key is. If he fires me, I'll be in trouble. Teacher, you must think of a way, I follow your instructions, at this time, you can't just ignore me. Stop rambling, Su Zhenghong glared at Zhou Hanliang, I'm trying to find a way, Why are you so noisy? Okay, you think what you want, I won't talk. Jo Han Liang sat upright on the chair while talking, his eyes dangling with Su Zhenghong's pacing up and down. Boom. The sudden knock on the door made both of them tremble in fright. Zhou Mikang, who pushed the door in, took a good look at the expressions of the two of them, and frowned. What bad things are you discussing? No. The two said in unison. What are you afraid of without you? Zhou Mikang turned his gaze to Zhou Han Liang. Aren't you writing a work report? Why did you write it here? Zhou Han Liang's mind was muddled, and he smirked. What are you? Zhou Mikang lifted his collar, forcing him to look directly at him. What happened? Tell the truth. Zhou Han Liang had a flash of inspiration, and hurriedly said, I had some conflicts with Daodu, and I was feeling agitated, so I came to the teacher to help reconcile. Zhou Mikang snorted coldly. You and your girlfriend are having conflicts. What's the matter, Mr. Guan? I want Daodu to join the medical team. On the day of the selection, she happened to have diarrhea, so she missed it. She has had conflicts with me these days. Alas, I originally wanted the head of the group to help, but... Zhou Han Liang rubbed his head, but the head of the group pushed me away, so I didn't have the nerve to say so. Real? Of course it's true. Zhou Han Liang grimaced. Daodu gave me an ultimatum, saying that if she doesn't give her permission today, she will break up with me. You also know, leader, that I am not young anymore, and I am so old-fashioned. It is my good fortune that a girl as good as Daodu is willing to follow me. Moreover, I really like her. Now because of this incident, her parents don't like me anymore. That day, I took her to eat steamed stuffed buns and she had diarrhea. What he said is true. Zhou Mikang looked at Su Zhenghong. Mr. Su, I want the truth. Su Zhenghong nodded. That's right, that's what Han Liang was talking about. Then he added with a wry smile, I don't know whether I am the teacher or you are the teacher, and I threaten people whenever I speak. Hey. This is for you. Zhou Mikang handed the notebook in his hand to Su Zhenghong. Didn't you just download the training materials for the 1st Division of the 58th Army? I got them for you. Really? Su Zhenghong's eyes lit up. Boy, all right, how did you get it? How could the old fox be willing to give you this treasure? You can just say whether you want it or not. As for how I got it, does it matter? Zhou Mikang walked to the door. Seeing Zhou Han Liang still sitting there in a daze, he frowned. How long are you going to sit here? Let's go now, let's go now. Zhou Han Liang said with an embarrassed smile. Head, I've discovered that being in love can really make people stupid. You said, I've never made such a mistake before, right? Humph. Captain's Heise, can't you communicate with me in a normal human way? Han Liang Tongzi slandered secretly, but he didn't dare to show it on his face. Head, the teacher hasn't given me a letter yet. Look. Culture class must be passable. You ask Liang Xiangyang to write a question and answer it for Yun Daodu. If you pass, you will be admitted. Zhou Mikang turned around sharply, and Zhou Han Liang was so frightened that he hurriedly took a step back, said almost bumped into. Why didn't you report to me about the medical team? Zhou Han Liang slapped his forehead fiercely, with an annoyed expression on his face. Commander, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I was so busy and dizzy, I was only focused on reporting the affairs of the regiment. I forgot about the medical team. Mainly, this matter was caught by Captain Liang, and there is no need to report directly to me. I just forgot. Humph. Head of the team, can't you change the way of communication? Staring at the back of Zhou Mikang's head, Zhou Han Liang had a look of resentment. By the way. Zhou Mikang stopped suddenly, and then waved his hands again. Forget it, let's go. After hesitating for a while, Zhou Han Liang said, by the way, Captain, I don't know if I should tell you something. Speak straight. That's That is, among the members of the medical team, there is Lin Chuxia. Let's have it. After Zhou Mikang finished speaking, he turned around sharply, frowning and staring at Zhou Hanliang. Who do you think is there? Lin Chuxia. Did it come from normal channels? Certainly. That's fine. Zhou Mikang turned around. As long as it's recruited through normal channels, it's fine. Yes. Zhou Hanliang rolled his eyes. Do you need to repeat it? Wait. Zhou Hanliang was so frightened that he took a step back. Leader, don't always scare people so suddenly, okay? You didn't yell at my family about Lin Chuxia, did you? No. Zhou Hanliang quickly shook his head. You didn't say anything, how dare I? Really do not have. Really, Zhou Hanliang said solemnly, I dare not lie to you. If I lie to anyone, right, I don't lie to you, should I say so? Looking at Zhou Mikang, who continued to move forward, Zhou Hanliang's steps were a little trembling, for fear that the other party would turn his head sharply and step on his foot. Just now, he said in pain when he stepped on it. However, the expression of the head of the group is too rare, so that he can't judge whether he is doing the right thing or not. Could it be that he really misunderstood the head of the group? In fact, he only sympathized with Lin Chuxia at the time, but he forgot in a blink of an eye. Hey, if that's the case, she should be pitiful to the poor child. I don't know if she can stand such a high-intensity training in the army. Hey. Zhou Hanliang suddenly felt that he looked old because he was worried. If he was like the head of the group, he would definitely not look old. Hey, why did the head of the group turn to the right? Isn't his office on the left? Team leader. Zhou Hanliang hurried to catch up. Where are you going? What do you think? Zhou Mikang looked back at him coldly. Where do you think I'm going? No. Don't dare to guess. Is there anything else you dare not? Zhou Mikang gave him a glare and continued on his way. Head, are you back? Halfway along the road, the two met ZenMaleLead, who came forward to say hello with a smile. And Zhou Mikang responded, where are you going? Go to eat. ZenMaleLead looked at Zhou Hanliang suspiciously. The group leader Tongzi suddenly cared so much about her, which made her very uncomfortable. Where are the team members? Zhou Hanliang asked quickly. Some of them went to eat, some of them were doing rest and exercise, and some of them were doing morning exercises. Zhou Mikang frowned and walked towards the playground. Zhou Hanliang quickly followed. After hesitating, ZenMaleLead also turned around. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. First marriage then love, Mr. Mayor please be kind. Author, Zhao Nuan. Chapter 91. I have something to do during the day, so I was delayed. I just finished coding. Why go? ZenMaleLead chased after Zhou Hanliang and asked in a low voice. Deliberately slowing down and putting some distance away from Zhou Mikang, Zhou Hanliang finally said, I told the team leader that Lin Chuxia is among the members of the medical team. Did you say so? ZenMaleLead's eyes widened instantly. Ma'am. Zhou Hanliang interrupted her, hissed, and shook his head. Of course I didn't say that. If ZenMaleLead had a bitter expression on her face, if she knew we were hiding it from him. What are you two doing sneakily? The two of them trembled in fright, so they quickened their pace. Zhou Mikang stood still and stared at the two of them. I'll give you another chance. I'm asking Captain Zhang for advice on how to coax a girl in a hurry. Zhou Hanliang continued to explain with this lie, and ZenMaleLead nodded in cooperation. Yes, yes. Sure. Sure. I hope things are as certain as you said. Zhou Mikang turned around and continued to move forward with great strides. The two people behind them looked at each other and smiled wryly. One lie would cost 10 lies. They went farther and farther on the avenue of lying, and they couldn't come back even if they wanted to. The legs seemed to be filled with lead, The breath exhaled from the nostrils was scorching hot, and the heart felt like it was about to jump out of the throat. This state has lasted for a long time, and Chuseok kept chanting in his heart, I hope to break through the limit. Make her a little more comfortable. With the last half turn left, she was panting like a broken bellows. Move forward step by step, okay. She is now the veritable number one from the bottom. The girl who was originally behind her is now about 2 meters beyond her. The distance of 2 meters is usually a few steps, but now, it feels longer than 2,000 meters. She desperately wanted to catch up, but the result was like a piece of cake hanging in front of the donkey's nose, looking at it in front of her eyes, but she couldn't reach it. The girl in front was obviously also worried that she would overtake her. Leaning forward, he moved forward desperately, not forgetting to glance back at her from time to time. Luo Xiaoxian followed Chuxia and wished she could run to the finish line with Chuxia on her back, but Zheng Mei's warning was still in her ears, so she had no choice but to follow Chuxia and keep encouraging him. In early summer, there are still 300 meters at most. Keep at it, and it will be there soon. Chuxia. Take a little bigger steps and adjust your breathing. Chuxia, don't worry, there is still half an hour before breakfast. You can't miss it. Several team members who were taking a walk to rest after the run, heard what Luo Xiaoxian said, and all laughed. Luo Xiaoxian. You should go to the cafeteria to grab a meal and run in front of Lin Chuxia. Maybe it can really help her speed up. Yes. This is a good way. Next time, you should finish your run and go get some food. Don't waste time here. That's right. If it doesn't work, string a piece of cake with a rope and hang it in front of Lin Chuxia. Hearing the people talking more and more shameless, Luo Xiaoxian clenched his fists. You guys, do you want to fight? Do you want to remember? Although they said so, several team members quickly moved away. Anyway, fighting is a disadvantage for both sides. They don't want to discredit themselves on the first day of formal training. Don't run away if you have the ability. Luo Xiaoxian stomped her feet bitterly, and continued to run beside her. Chuxia wanted to drive her to dinner, but her throat was so dry that she couldn't make a sound, and she also knew, Luo Xiaoxian would not listen to what she said at this time. Simply, let the other party run with her. Alas, thinking about her own body, she is also much stronger than this body. She originally thought that after this period of training, she should be able to keep up with the rhythm of training. Now it seems that she is too optimistic. Thinking about it, she can take her time at home, but it's different here. From the very beginning, everyone held back their energy and wanted to perform their best. Running, the most taboo is to go fast in the front and slow in the back. However, everyone is fast, and she can't move behind alone. Of course, as far as the actual situation is concerned, if she jogged from the beginning, the time for her to run the whole distance should be shorter than it is now, but the truth is clear and understandable, when everyone is moving fast, she really can't do it detached and independent. Well, people don't feel that they can't do it until they are so uncomfortable. Luo Xiaoxian was concentrating on running with her, when suddenly a paw was placed on her shoulder, and when she looked back, it was Lin Mengran. Let's go eat, and help her get the food out. After Lin Mengran finished speaking, she ran to Chuxia and ran forward side by side with her, left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot, exhale, 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 yes, exhale and exhale in line with the pace. Lin Chuxia, you did a good job, persevere, you will reach the end soon, now follow my footsteps, don't mess up, pace don't mess up, don't breathe messy. Chuxia nodded gratefully at Lin Mengran. Indeed, after keeping up with the opponent's pace, although it was still uncomfortable, it was obviously much better than before. When she regained her senses, Luo Xiaoxian quickly caught up and ran with Lin Mengran. Lin Mengran was so angry that she pushed her away. Go and eat quickly, I am the one who bothers mother-in-law the most, don't let me say it again. Thank you. Luo Xiaoxiang saw that Chu Xia was indeed running faster than before, and she had gotten a lot closer to the girl in front, so she stopped insisting, turned around and ran towards the cafeteria. Running to the edge of the playground, she almost bumped into the oncoming Zhou Mikang. She stopped abruptly, raised her head, her eyes were full of surprise, and tentatively called out, "Captain Zhou." Zhou Mikang nodded at him. Chu Xia finished the run in less than half a lap. I didn't help her at all, and she wasn't lazy at all. Luo Xiaoxiang said this to ZenMaleLead. Let's go eat. ZenMaleLead waved her hand, sighing inwardly, why didn't she leave any team members here to keep watch while she was eating? The purpose was to release the water, but in fact, she is quite contradictory. She wants to release water, but also doesn't like a few players with poor grades. She really releases water for herself. Now hearing what Luo Xiaoxiang said, she really can't express what she feels in her heart. Glancing quietly at Zhou Mikang, the other party looked as usual. There is neither distress nor pity, nor dislike. She was a little puzzled. How did he feel about Lin Chuxia? Is it meaningful for them to work behind his back? In other words, is it correct that they recruited Lin Chuxia here behind his back? As far as her body is concerned, the following training is definitely enough for her to drink a pot. When he came to the playground, Zhou Mikang just stood there quietly without saying a word. Zhou Hanliang and ZenMaleLead felt bad about themselves, and they didn't dare to say anything. They stared straight at the three small figures running over from a distance, as if they were trying to spot a piece of gold. Accompanied by Lin Mengran, Chu Xia caught up with the girl in front of her step by step, and opened a distance of half a meter with difficulty. However, that girl was not stupid, and felt that the problem was due to Lin Mengran's company. After running up, she also adjusted her pace and breathing with the two of them, and after a while, she walked side by side with Chu Xia. Chu Xia didn't think that being second to last was much more honorable than being first, so when she saw the other party catching up, she smiled at him. Unfortunately, the other party didn't appreciate it and gave her a big white eye in return. Then, speed up. This feeling is too bullying. Chu Xia's competitive spirit was provoked by the opponent, and she also accelerated. Lin Mengran stroked her forehead with a headache. It was just morning exercises, how could these two compete? Could it be that they are not afraid that they will not be able to get up the next day? The result of ignorance of reasonable exercise is that the muscles are so sore that you don't want to live. It seems that these two must taste this taste. Originally, she thought that Chu Xia was in her class, and because the other party was so persistent despite being weak, she came to help. Now, since the other party doesn't cherish herself, she doesn't bother to care about her. Thinking of this, Lin Mengran stopped and wobbled back to the dormitory. Looking at the early summer whose little face was swollen to the color of a pig's liver, Zhou Mikang's expression that had remained unchanged for thousands of years finally showed a slight change, the corners of his mouth twitched. Taking a step forward, Zhou Hanliang stepped back. The master didn't move. Why did he move? ZenMaleLead looked at the expressions of the two, and simply stood there pretending to be a bodhisattva. Although she was no more tired than a dead dog, Chu Xia's mind was extremely clear. When she saw three people standing in front of her from a distance, she wondered, it was just morning exercises, so why should I pay so much attention to it? It's not without regret in my heart. It's definitely not an honorable thing for her to be on the bottom of the list of laggards on the first day of training with her broken body. No, no matter what you say, you can't be the last one. It's not honorable to be second to last, but it's better than first to last. Thinking of this, Chu Xia gritted her teeth and moved her legs vigorously to chase forward. Needless to say, this fight still worked. In the end, she led the opponent by half her body and became the second to last. At the moment when she reached the finish line, she couldn't hold on any longer, and when her legs gave way, She didn't know anything. Why is it so light? Jo Mikang frowned, does this girl eat or not? Such a tall person is so light. I'm so kind as to give her some food coupons according to her will. Seeing the last girl standing there in a daze, Zhengmei hurriedly ordered, Rao Shui, don't stop, take a stroll for a while before going to eat. Yes, with a listless reply, Rao Shui lowered her head in annoyance, hiding the emotion on her face. Isn't it because of him that she came to be a soldier? But, judging by his appearance, he doesn't seem to know her at all, does he? Hey, such a good opportunity wasted. If she knew that it was him who was standing there just now, she would faint if she said anything. Well, if I didn't take the lead this time, then next time. Rao Switongzi, who originally planned to exercise hard and must surpass Lin Chuxia, changed her mind immediately, and she wanted to be the last one. Resolutely be the last one. This is the only way to faint. 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 First marriage then love, Mr. Mayor please be kind. Author, Zhao Nuan. Chapter 92. One more. The purplish-red piano body is low-key yet luxurious, and the black and white keys are glowing with a cold and faint light. Chu Xia moved forward with some trepidation, touched the keys lightly with her fingers, and the crisp and melodious sound passed through her ears. She trembled subconsciously. She was so familiar with this home, she was born and raised here, with her eyes closed, she could come and go freely. Moved out of the piano room, the left-hand position is the bedroom of grandparents, the old couple said. If you can't hear the sound of ding ding dong dong, it seems that something is missing in your heart. Then there is the guest room, the kitchen, the bathroom, and up the stairs, her bedroom, her parents' bedroom and a large study. Looking around from room to room, she was so excited, she didn't know why she came back, and when she caught sight of the black and white keys, she was indeed startled. But this is the home she has lived in for 21 years. In the blink of an eye, she calmed down and even accepted the matter of soul travel. What else can't be accepted? She took a deep breath and pushed open the bedroom door. Everything was as it was in her memory. The sun shone in through the gauze curtains, and the whole room seemed to be enveloped in a layer of dream-like mist. In a dream, there can be no sunshine, right? So, is she really back? There was a burst of ecstasy in my heart, followed by faint sourness. That father, that mother, was so kind to her, so I never saw her again. Tears rolled down my eyes unconsciously. Dad, Mom, I will miss you, many things from that era. I have been trying to adapt, but it's really hard to get used to. I miss my big fluffy bed and my widescreen laptop. I miss my Yamaha C7, I even miss the bus, I even miss the TV that I always dislike. Or, when I come back, your daughter will go back too. She must be more sensible than before, right? Tentatively laying down on the bed that I once dreamed of, I closed my eyes comfortably, and rubbed my cheeks on the soft quilt. The house is so quiet. She suddenly panicked for no reason. Is this a dream? Or reality? She wanted to pinch herself, but she didn't dare, because she was afraid that the soap bubbles of hope would not be able to withstand the pinch. Whether it's a dream or not. She wants to see her parents, her grandparents, even if she only takes one look, she is content. Crack. The sound of the door lock turning. Mom, Sister Yanyan is so beautiful today, but I think brother-in-law is not good enough for her. She is so stupid, so stupid. Fool, find a man who knows the cold and the hot and will love others, and spend the rest of his life with each other. It's the happiness of a woman. Why do you want such a clever man? He can coax you and of course others. A man with a flirtatious heart is no good. But early summer. When will you bring your boyfriend back to show grandparents and parents? If appropriate. Just settle down earlier, you are only half a year younger than Yan Yan. It's time to get married too. Yeah, early summer, grandpa and grandma are still in good health, and you can still help when you are married. In a few years, grandpa and grandma will not only be unable to help, but may even drag you down. Chusia, if I wait until my father retires before we get married, I won't be able to ask Uncle Liang to be the officiant. How does this talk about my marriage? Don't you need to drive me out in such a hurry? This child, who wants to drive you away, just wants someone to love you. Besides, you and Jingzhe have been talking for so long, should we let us meet? Yeah, let's meet, find a suitable time, and meet Jingzhe's family members, and agree on your wedding date. This love, you can't talk for too long. Grandma, you are quite trendy, do you support flash marriage? Hearing the discussion from downstairs, Chu Xia trembled all over, and moved to the stairs step by step. Grandma, your hair is graying again. Grandpa, your waist is even more bent. Mom, you seem to have a few more fine lines around your eyes. Dad, the forehead lines on your forehead seem to be getting deeper. And that she, yes, Chu Xia saw herself, or rather, her true self, smiling so brightly, getting along so well with her family, she, unexpectedly, blended in such a short time. Have you lost your own family? Also, in such a short period of time, she actually has a boyfriend and is about to get married. Grandpa, Grandma, Father, Mother, do you know that it is not me anymore? Tears, rolling down uncontrollably. She went down step by step, and moved to the side of the relatives she missed day and night, but they were still chatting and laughing, as if they hadn't noticed her at all. Mom! She called out with trembling lips. Mother's expression froze slightly, and she glanced around with some doubts, and then she smiled and looked at her with a bright smile. In early summer, it's better to hit the sun than to choose a day, catch up with today's festive energy, call Jingzhe to come over and meet. Okay, I really let you lose. Looking at the familiar self, she took out the phone, dialed the number, and smiled coquettishly. Jingzhe, my grandparents and parents can't wait to see you, come here now. Well, don't bring presents, they want to see you. This person is not a gift. Yes, in their eyes, I am nothing, and I am afraid that no one will want it. After hanging up the phone, she smiled and spread her hands to her relatives. Are you satisfied now? Jingzhe said, come here right away. Chu Xia's tears couldn't stop falling, and she moved step by step to the mirror in the bathroom. Yes, it was her. Oh no, it wasn't her. Well, she was also confused, and it was reflected in the mirror. Yes, it was Lin Chuxia in the 1970s, thin and frail, and wearing a green military uniform. Is this a dream? Then what? Could it be that she died again? The soul floated here? Then her death is too worthless, right? Running to kill yourself? Well, it happens quite often. How sad should father and mother be? She moved back into the hall step by step, moved in front of the happy group of people, and stroked their cheeks one by one. She could feel their temperature, but they didn't seem to feel her at all. Finally, she stood in front of herself. Staring straight into the other person's eyes, at that moment, that Lin Chuxia was obviously stunned, with a hint of doubt in his eyes. Chu Xia, what's the matter? Is there something wrong? It was my mother's concerned voice. No, Mom, I was dizzy just now, and I don't know why. Really? Mom fainted just now. Me too. Me too. Grandpa, Grandma, and Father said one after another, their brows were slightly frowned. Probably, it's because the food is not so good. Hey, the wedding banquet now costs a lot of money. You can't eat good food, and it's not hygienic. No, I'll make a pot of mung bean soup, Mom said as she went to the kitchen. Chu Xia didn't even think about it, so she followed her mother into the kitchen and watched her skillfully wash mung beans and rice, put them into the rice cooker, and press the switch. Uncontrollably, she opened her arms and hugged him. "Mom!" whispered, she pressed her cheek to her mother's cheek. She knew it was not good, but she couldn't control herself. When her mother was standing in front of her, she really couldn't control herself. "Mom, Jingzhe is here." Then, her true self appeared at the door, and the smile on her face froze suddenly. "Mom, what's wrong with you? What's wrong?" She quickly let go of her arms around her mother. Squeezing her throat hard, her mother smiled at her deity. "It's so strange, I suddenly felt that I couldn't move, and I couldn't speak. That feeling was really scary." "Hello, Auntie." A tall, strong man with a handsome face appeared at the door. He looked obviously nervous. When he smiled, his facial muscles twitched slightly. "Jingzhe, sit outside." Mom greeted her happily. Her deity was always hugging mother's arm affectionately. Inexplicably, her heart prickled. She knew that this feeling was called jealousy. Yes, she is jealous. Her mother has become the mother of another girl, and that girl has her body and her mother. She really wanted to pinch herself to make sure if she was in a dream. However, she was reluctant. She was afraid that she would never see her grandparents and parents again after waking up from her dream. Moreover, this dream is too real. She is now almost certain that all of this should have happened in this time and space, only she does not belong here. That family, sitting together, enjoying themselves happily, pierced her heart more and more pain. "Xia, Dad can do anything for you. Xia, Father and Mother are content with you. Xia, whoever dares to bully you, Father will beat him. Xia, Mother is waiting to enjoy happiness with you." Summer. What Zhao Yulan and Lin Bao he said to her echoed inexplicably in her ears. Their love for her, one after another, flashed before her eyes like a movie. That's right, she also took over her true self, she also took over her parents, and she also got the love of her parents, no less than what her own parents gave her. Didn't you already understand this truth? Without the slightest hesitation, she dug her nails into her palms, and she wanted to go back. This time and space does not belong to her anymore, so she will return to the time and space that belongs to her. Seeing the happiness of her parents and grandparents, she felt relieved. "Lin Chuxia, if you feel something, just roll your eyes." There is a simple and honest male voice. Why is it so familiar? Chu Xia tried hard to open his eyes, and then they suddenly widened, as if he had been greatly frightened.